Fandoms Anonymous.
What's going on, everybody? This is Malcolm from Fandoms Anonymous. We're here today. I'm sorry, got my words jumping up a little bit. Always talking too fast. My mom always told me, stop talking fast. Enunciate. Let everybody hear your words. But let's keep it going. Outside on this lovely winter, spring, whatever you want to call it that we're having type of weather here in Alabama. Man, it's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. But I'll tell you what else is hot. The Flash. We're reviewing The Flash today. Now, the first part one of the attack on Central City started last week, and I was going to review last week, but I said, well, why don't I just do it all together? Let's talk about it all together. So let's get started. We start the episode off where we left off previously from last week's episode, where Jesse's coming through the warp portal through the breach. I'm sorry. So used to calling it a warp portal. This is not Mario, but she's coming through the breach and letting everybody know that her dad has been captured. HR has been captured by Grodd. He has them in Gorilla City, and Team Flash decides to go off and go save HR. So they get through the breach. They go to Earth 2, and Julian decides to go as well. And he dresses up in his old Indiana Jones outfit. He's excited for adventure. So they finally get to the Gorilla City, and they're in the jungle, which is in Africa in Earth 2, and they're all hit with these darts. Now, it's become the joke recently in the sci-fi superhero universe that speedsters have a problem with running from inanimate objects. Well, I don't even think that was a real word, but things that can hit them. We got Quicksilver with the bullet. And then we got Barry, who multiple times in this episode gets hit with tranquilizer darts and just passes out. So we jump onto another dynamic. When Barry goes off to Earth 2, he leaves behind Jesse Quick and Kid Flash. And we see a little trouble between them two, basically because Wally hasn't been keeping in contact with Jesse over in Earth 2 through whatever type, and they have not explained how the two communicate. Maybe it's something that's outside the show that's not important to discuss or bring up, but apparently he hasn't been in contact with her because, of course, he's been being Kid Flash. So we finally go back to the jungle, and we see Gorilla City. And even though it's CGI, it is massive. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I love the CGI they did for Gorilla City. I have no problem with it at all whatsoever. We see these big cathedrals. We see the big... It almost reminds you of a desolate area, as if in the Hunger Games, if you remember when they brought the tributes up the middle of the Pantheon, or whatever you want to call it. It almost reminds you of that. So we see the arena, and then come to find out, when they got hit with those tranquilizer darts, they were put in jail or in prisons that the gorillas had. And all of a sudden HR comes in, and he's being taken over by the mind and mind control by Grodd. And I heard something that Collider said that I thought was freaking hilarious. They said, even though they're being controlled by Grodd, why do they have to have the whole me gorilla, me come get you type thing going on in their own voice? I think it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it is funny to me as well. We also go forward into the episode, and we hear the plot that Grodd wants him to go over. Basically, Salivar is taking over Gorilla City. Grodd wants Flash to help him stop Salivar so he can be ruler. In the end, he doesn't kill Salivar like he wants him to. He decides to spare Salivar after beating him in battle. And they end up escaping back to Earth 1. Now, in the meantime, we get a little end clip to get us ready for part 2. Grodd has somehow gotten control of Gypsy and gotten her over from Earth 19 to Earth 2, where he is, to bring Grodd and his army to Earth 1 to come and attack Central City. Now, we already know that the gorilla attack is one of the things that was on the radar in regards to stopping Savitar from killing Iris, or changing the future, or however that they're talking about doing it. So we get to the beginning of the next episode, part 2. We'll move on to that. And like I said, I like when the Flash does a two-parter. They branch it out. They flesh it out, and we were able to understand everything. So we begin, and of course, this is what you would call the Valentine's Day episode. Supergirl just had her Valentine's Day episode a week before with Mr. Mixplit. Mr. Mixplit. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I think I got it right. And not HR, but well, now you got HR and you got Harry. Harry's from Earth 2. HR is, of course, from Earth 19. I keep getting the names mixed up, but it's just awesome to see Tom Cavanaugh play. He has played 3 different people so far. He's played the original Wells, which was actually Eobard Thawne. He's played Harry from Earth 2, and now he's playing HR from Earth 19. I just think it is so amazing. I think some of my favorite roles of Tom Cavanaugh is, some of his TV shows, but I also loved him when he was on Scrubs. He was actually JD's brother, and he would always pop up, "Hey, little brother," and just hilarious. But he's decorating for Valentine's Day, and on Earth 19 it's called Friends Day. So it's just, he brings the whimsy to the episode, but he does help out, even though they remind him that he's not a genius. And Harry comes in and definitely reminds him that he's a dummy, and he keeps calling him an idiot and not a genius. He calls him a moron, but eventually he sees that he has some type of, help or brings something to the team. So we get Gypsy, who comes in through a breach. And when she comes in through the breach, she automatically starts attacking everybody. Basically, she's being controlled by Grodd, and they're trying to figure out, how does Grodd have this much power? And if you know Grodd, he's a sentient ape, so he has the ability to, in a sense, learn at an exponential rate, and learn and develop and evolve. And this whole time, he's been learning, developing, and evolving, and I think that's just awesome. So we get into the fact that he had her hypnotized, or he was controlling her mind, however have you. And it's kind of cool to see them bring Gypsy back. I thought, we weren't going to see Gypsy again. It was just going to be another love interest that they had set up for Cisco, and it wasn't going to go anywhere. But I think this one might go somewhere, or it might wind up like the other ones. So come to find out, she's come through the breach, and she's brought all of the gorillas through the breach, but she doesn't remember a thing until they, recollect her mind, the fact that she didn't know that she was doing it. She was under Grodd's control. So everybody's now frantic, trying to figure out, how are we going to stop all of these gorillas? What are we going to do? What's our plan? And Barry comes up with the idea to kill Grodd. So, of course, this is where we go into, like my friend Kevin calls it, always got to have a come to Jesus meeting or a pep talk, and letting Barry know, like, you don't have to kill. That's not you. Barry comes into defense of his idea of wanting to kill Grodd, along the lines of the fact that, Oliver has done it. He does it all the time. And what they remind him is that even though Oliver has done it, he still walks around with that burden each and every day. And they didn't want Barry to go down that path. So we move forward along in the episode, and Grodd ends up taking control of Joe and almost has Joe killed. He had Joe put a gun to his head and actually fired the bullet, but Flash was able to move fast enough and push Joe out of the way, but the bullet still ended up grazing Joe along the head. But Joe's fine, he's not dead. But they realized that maybe because of the fact that Grodd took over Joe's mind, that they can maybe hone in to the fact that Joe does remember a few things when he was under his spell. So they end up using these magnets and I love when they get together and build things and hurry up and do things to get results. It reminds me of CSI. Now, if you hear a lot of real life CSIs, they'll say it does not happen that quick for fingerprinting, or it does not happen that quick for blood analysis and things of that nature. But they do pretty good at Star Labs with building devices to help them, get to the next point. We move on, and the device that they build to put on Joe's head actually helps them reveal what Grodd's plan was. Grodd's plan was to take over the mind of a general who had clearance for nuclear weapons, and he was going to release some nuclear weapons. So they figure that out, and Barry's able to hurry up and get there and stop the nuclear weapons from going off. So we move on to another part. This is when Gypsy had decided that she was not going to help out because she had already felt like she had done enough damage. So they go after Gypsy. Well, Vibe goes after Gypsy. Cisco goes after her. He breaches himself to Earth 19. But before that, we see a connection with Gypsy and what we now know to be the Accelerated Man. And to me, it looks like Teddy Sears is going to be the Accelerated Man, or what you would call the Flash on Earth 19. She hands him a picture of a young girl. We don't know who she is or what role she might have. We don't know any of that yet, but maybe that's something that they will allude to or elaborate more on going towards the end of the season. Or maybe a couple of episodes from now. But Cisco Vibe's there, and he basically convinces her to come back and help, because they had a plan that they were going to use a device to help get rid of Grodd without killing him. So they finally find out that the gorillas are in the city, and you got Kid Flash, Jesse Quick, and you got Barry. They are there ready to fight the gorillas, but there wasn't their plan to fight the gorillas. Their plan was to create a diversion for a period of time. And the diversion that they were creating was the ability for Gypsy, I was about to say Jesse, Gypsy and Cisco to vibe Salivar from Earth 2 into Earth 1, so that he could fight Grodd and take control back over the gorillas. So Salivar comes through, he ends up winning. Salivar was going to kill Grodd, but he tells, and this is what I don't understand, just let him kill him. Let's let him take him out. And maybe they're using and keeping the Grodd, just like they got King and Shark locked up for something later on. So Argus comes and collects Grodd. Cisco and Gypsy end up putting not Grodd, but Salivar and the rest of the gorillas back on Earth 2 through some breaches. And that was the end of the story for that day. But then we get an interaction where Cisco is just letting Gypsy, like, I know you like me, and she ends up giving him a kiss. And maybe they'll flesh this out more. Maybe they'll get more in deeper detail with this storyline with Gypsy and Vibe, and with Cisco. We don't know her real name yet. We just know her to be Gypsy. Maybe they'll flesh that out. I hope they do. It looks like it. But we get to the very end of the episode, almost towards the end, and we see Barry is proposing to Iris. She didn't say yes. The show ended off with her before the end credits of her, just taking in the moment. So I wonder if she's going to say yes. I wonder if she's going to say she's not ready. They are kind of moving kind of fast, but hey, he's the Flash. So we get to the very end. We're in the end credits now, and we get Jesse and Wally. They're sitting on TV. They're cuddling up, watching a movie or whatnot. And Jesse's like, hey, I could really go for a big belly burger. So Wally's like, okay, I'll go get your big belly burger. So he speeds on out the house, as all speedsters do, downtown to Big Belly Burger. And he runs into Savitar. And that's where our episode ends. So apparently the next episode, Wally, of course, with his connection to the Philosopher's Stone, with his connection of how he got his powers, there's something going on mentally between him and Savitar. So we'll find out more about that next week. But guys, I do thank you for watching today. We got something very special that's going to debut on tomorrow. This video, of course, is posted today. Today is Thursday. So something really special is going to hit the Fandoms Anonymous YouTube channel tomorrow. I guarantee you that it is going to be massive. So just please stay tuned for that. As always, follow us all over social media. We are Fandoms Anonymous. That's FANDOMS ANONYMOUS. On Facebook, we're Fandoms Anonymous. On YouTube, on Twitter, we are at Anonymous_fan17. That's Twitter. And on Instagram, we are Fandoms_Anonymous17 on Instagram. So again, guys, thank you for joining us. Continue to watch us. Don't forget to subscribe. Please click that subscribe button. The more you subscribe, the more you watch, the more consistent content where we can put out for you guys. We enjoy doing this. If you haven't heard our podcast for the week, our Wednesday podcast, go check that out as well. It's already posted. We talk about the Oscars. We talked about the death of Bill Paxton. We talked about some of the movie trailers, the new Guardians trailer. We talked about a lot. So please check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to us. Subscribe. Follow us all over social media. Thank you guys for joining and have a great day.